You just crossed over into the female zone.
Why do men insist on finishing in women that they do not want to get pregnant and do not want to have children with? The homie has been messing with this girl for a while, and he keeps in her and making her pop Plan Bs like they are freaking candy, and now she's super late on her period, and they're freaking out, saying that he doesn't want to be a dad and he doesn't want the kid. Guess what, buddy? A plus B equals C, so I'll see you at the hospital.
Not gonna lie, I get called beautiful so much that I'm desensitized by it. So like, when men are like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, I'm like, and what else? What else? Okay, I want to be, like, I think the best compliment is like when someone's like, you're so funny, or like, you're so cool, you're so sweet. That's the kind of compliments I want. I'm tired of being called beautiful. Everyone's beautiful.
I would like men's opinion on this because I just saw it happen and I just wonder what most men would do. You go with your girl into PetSmart. She has to buy cat litter and like cat food and for the cat. She goes to the register to pay and you're standing next to her. She pays for her stuff and now it's time for her to grab everything she just paid for. Are you going to carry the heavy cat litter for her because you think that that's the right thing to do and you think it's heavy and, you know, you want to be a gentleman? Or do you think, well, that's her purchase. Why would I carry her stuff? She's perfectly capable of carrying it herself. What would you do?
We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
All right, to that first queen. You know what? This girl has got to say it. She has got a point 100%. I cannot go against that because, listen, gentlemen, for as much as I like to say that women are the ones who actually choose to be with deadbeat dads and all that, and it's their choice, there's a flip side to that coin. And that is, if you are going to be with a woman that you do not intend to have anything long term with, if she is a pump and dump, buddy, you better wrap that up. I'm talking about your pullout game better be on point and you better be missing every freaking target. Don't hit anything. I mean, don't even trust any alternate holes that she may offer because there is no 100% guarantee that she may not spit that back up and decide to use a turkey baster. Just saying. All right, to that second queen. First of all, no, not everyone's beautiful. And second of all, the reason you don't get any other compliments is because you got nothing else to compliment. What do you want them to do? Lie to you? Oh yeah, you're so funny with your super lame, corny jokes. Or you want them to call you intelligent when you have like an average IQ? I mean, seriously, if you want a compliment for something other than your beauty, you need to bring something else to the table to get complimented. You gotta show up, honey. Because if you don't, you know what's gonna happen? Men are gonna be honest. They're gonna be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna compliment on the one thing that you're bringing, which is your beauty. You know, this gorilla did not fail to notice that you didn't say, oh, compliment me on my math skills, or compliment me on my cooking skills, or compliment me on my outstanding driving, or compliment me on my charitable contributions that I do to help out others. You didn't say any of that because guess what? You don't bring any of that. All right, to that third queen asking about the PetSmart story. Okay, we're going to assume that you saw this today. I mean, you were seeing this happen with somebody else. You know what this girl is going to say about that? Mind your freaking business. You have no idea what was happening over there. What if the guy has an injured shoulder? What if the guy was against all of this? What if she wasn't buying it for her own kitty cat and she just wants to buy all this food to put out to all these neighborhood cats and he's not down with a bunch of cats coming around his house? There are 1,000 other reasons why the guy wouldn't lift up any of the heavy bags. And guess what? All of that is none of your business. Sweetie, it's kind of funny how women would see these situations and they want to put themselves in these situations and say, I want to know what it feels like to be a victim on someone else's behalf. This is the biggest issue with modern day dynamics. If nobody asked you to look into it, and nobody brings it to your attention, stop butting in. Obviously, you must be bored and you don't have your own life, so you gotta live vicariously through somebody else. Before we move on, I want to say thank you, fam, to all of my subscribers for supporting this channel. I truly appreciate all of you who leave comments, who like my videos, and share them on other social media platforms. I truly gotta say thanks, fam. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, I thank you for tuning in, and I hope you decide to hit that subscribe button. Moving on!
You might not like my thoughts on consent, but here they are anyways. I got married when I was 19, and the wedding night was the first time I had like penetrative sex, like penis in vagina sex. I grew up evangelical, I grew up Christian, I grew up believing that my virginity was this massive value, this symbol of my purity and a symbol of my worth. I met someone, we met at a Christian camp, we fell in love, whatever that means when you're 19 years old, and he is 24, 25 years old, and we had a long distance relationship and got married the year after we met. We had spent a couple of weeks in one another's presence before our marriage. And I believe my wedding night was not consensual. I married a man who had portrayed himself to be someone he was not. He lied about it. The reason you might not like this conversation is because it's uncomfortable to like look at our own relationships and critique them through the lens of, is that actually consent? When we consent to having sex with someone, we are doing that under with the umbrella of information we have in front of us that has been presented to us and which we have absorbed. If that information is false, if someone is presenting themselves as someone they are not, that's non-consensual. You are convincing me to get in bed with you because you are telling me something about yourself that is not true. It's actually a really painful thing to think about, because when we start to recognize like, wow, the basis of a relationship we've entered in is non-consensual, like everything after that fact is actually manipulation and coercion. He lied about his hobbies and his interests. He lied about what he wanted to do with his life. He presented a narrative that he knew I would want to hear. I remember saying point blank to him, if you're into that, like that's not going to work for me, because I do not want to be in a relationship with someone who has that hobby or who has that interest. This is me, a 19-year-old. Like, I don't know anything, but I did have some ideas about what I wanted in a partner. I entered into that marriage believing the things he presented as truth. They were not. You are in a relationship right now, and you can identify like, man, the guy I'm with, like they really said this thing to me, and it's like actually not real. It's not really who they are. That's non-consensual. I didn't have language for my life experience for a long time. I'm 44 years old. I stayed with that man for over 20 years. And I feel like I was tricked. I was bamboozled. And it was non-consensual. If you want to trick people into having sex with you and marrying you, like, you can actually go to hell. It's not cute. It's not clever. It's not alpha. You're a liar. I don't like it.
Oh, the world owes me a living.
Falling for somebody's lies equals to non-consensual sex or non-consensual marriage. I'm sorry, sister, but you just kind of like went against what the vast majority of women do, because women are great chameleons. Women do it so often. The term chameleon was invented by men to coin a phrase as to women doing it. So let me get this straight. You actually believe that regret equals non-consensual sex. No, sister. You gave consent. You're just regretting giving consent. You gave consent to marrying this guy. You're just regretting that. I mean, you didn't give it a good vetting process. You met him at 19, great, and you married him a year later, but you only were in his presence a couple weeks, and it was all long distance. How is that a good vetting process? So you actively didn't really know this person, you just knew something that they told you. Men fall for this all the time. And what do you think? The law goes to men and say, hold up, did this woman lie to you about this? Oh, well, you're off the hook for any alimony from the marriage because it was a lie. It was all non-consensual. No, you were an adult, and you made a decision. Although I'll grant you made the decision from a place of ignorance. That does not absolve you from the accountability of your choices. Okay, you chose the wrong guy, even though you met him through your local communities, and you were with him for 20 some odd years. So I have to ask, exactly why did you last so long with him if you couldn't stand him and it was all non-consensual? Seems to me that you stayed with him a long time, and then in your 40s, you decided, hey, I want to find myself now. So your views of non-consensual sex or non-consensual marriage, sorry, sister, that doesn't hold any water in a court of law. But I'm pretty sure that your alimony demand and maybe some child support sure as hell did. Moving on.
Finally told my husband that we're expecting our third baby. Now I just have to find out a way to tell him that I don't know if he's the father. Here's the life update that you guys have been asking for. As you guys know, I just had our second kid a couple months ago and quite literally giving birth. So getting pregnant again wasn't on our to-do list, especially this quick. To say I'm scared is an understatement. But just when I think it can't get scarier, I do a little math on the timing of having another kid, and I realize that Jeans might not be the dad. That's because I went back to work. And well, if you know what I do for work, and you've seen the videos of what I do for work, then you would know that Jeans might not be the father. The good news is I have narrowed it down to 3 other people that it might be, and fortunately for me, they're all willing to take a paternity test before I tell my husband. Now, there is a kicker to all of this that's even more entertaining to me that nobody knows about, until right now, that is. Out of the 3 other people that could potentially be the father of this child, one is a pilot that I work with, another is a subscriber, but the third one, Jeans actually knows very well because he goes to our church with us.
The next day.
I'm about to find out that the baby I'm pregnant with is my husband's or if it's not, because the paternity test results are in! For the past month, I've been trying to figure out who the father is of this baby, all while keeping it a secret to my husband that it might not be his. So I figured that we could open this together. As you guys know, based on all these updates, that there were 4 potential other fathers besides my husband, and we've narrowed it down to 2. The first one being my husband, and the other one Jeans and I know very well because he goes to the same church as us. Today I got this package in the mail from his paternity test results, so let's open it together. Okay, now I'm a little confused. On those other paternity test results where it said like a 0% probability of paternity. Well, it doesn't say that on here. On here it says the combined paternity index, and it has a really big number. It's not 0 like on the other ones, and it says probability of paternity 99.98%. But then it says inconclusive. It says the alleged father is not excluded as the biological father of the tested child. I don't know what that means, but I don't think that that means that he is the father. Another reason I don't think that he's the father is because the wife literally told me that she was also going to get the test results, and I feel like she would have called me. Let me just make a phone call really quick to her and get back to you guys.
6 months later.
Well, I did it. I finally told my husband the baby that we're pregnant with might not be his, and if you wanted to know his reaction, he's not here right now because of how bad it went. For those wondering, because I know you are, I did get his entire reaction and this whole experience on video recorded, but I don't know if I should post it due to how bad it went. I'm actually at a loss for words and still like a little bit shaky right now because of how bad the experience went. Like, I did not expect it to go as bad as it did. But at the same time, I told you that I would release this video and show you guys his reaction, so you know what? It's my life. It's my channel. I'm going to post it anyway. It's not like he'll know anyway. He doesn't even have social media, so.
Well, that's disgusting. I mean, how do you feel when you're even doing that? Honestly, are there any upsides to this job?
The baby that you're pregnant with might not be your husband's. It looks like it's a 99.9999998% chance it's not your husband's. But you know what? Women always go with that. Well, it's not 100% chance now, is it? Okay, so for those of you who don't know what's going on, this is a content creator. She's got a TikTok account, but let me give you a little bit of backstory of her. Now, I don't know her full backstory, but what I know is she does have a OnlyFans account, and her husband, her current husband, have an open marriage of sorts. So apparently he sleeps with other women as well, blah, blah, blah. Soon after she gave birth of their last kid, she went back to work doing content, if we're going to call it that. And it seems like a bunch of guys threw in their DNA into that petri dish, and somebody hit the jackpot, I guess, and it seems that it wasn't her husband. In conclusion, this just shows you that you should always protect your seed and never try to turn a 304 into a housewife. Even though she actually was a stewardess for an airline, she no longer does that, to my understanding. I believe that she hasn't done that for years and is a full-time OnlyFans content creator. But gentlemen, I don't care how reformed you think this woman is. Do not be the blue pill beta simp thinking that, oh, I'm going to turn her into a mom. I'm going to make a decent woman out of her. It never works out in the end. Once a 304, always a 304. Silver lining, though, it seems like her husband and the real dad can agree to the place of worship the kid could get services done at, right? And to think, when these kids grow up, they can look back to these videos and see how awesome mommy was. Yeah, this isn't going to affect their future at all.
Damn, skip me.
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund, or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.